Welcome to the VI Department of Education's 2020-2021 Parent and Community Educational Conference. Research has shown that parental involvement is a key factor in student achievement and students' overall success in life. It is also known to be true that parents tend to participate more in their child's education when they know how and when they feel knowledgeable and equipped with the tools to do so. With this in mind, the VI Department of Education has provided professional development for parents over the years, and we are pleased to continue providing this important and necessary support. What's new at the department, however, is the professional development we are providing for the VI community. This change is due to the fact that successful school systems have strong, positive, and consistent community support. And with this goal of rebuilding the community's trust in the Virgin Islands public education system, I am delighted to bring this educational conference to you. Your participation in today's conference will help to transform our public education system. I look forward to hearing about your experience today and the areas of the VI public education system you would like to learn more about. Remember, together we can transform public education in the Virgin Islands. Enjoy today's session.
Welcome. I am Karen Chancellor, Director of the School and Community Relations for the Department of Education on St. Croix. And with me
is Jeray Forg. I'm the Director of School and Community Affairs on the Office of St. Thomas for the St. Thomas-St. John District.
Thank you. And today we will be sharing information with you pertaining to our offices, the Office of School and Community Relations in both districts. The Office of School and Community Relations is an office of unknown importance. And I wanted to bring your attention today to something called the ecological systems theory. And as we note, this is, I think it was Yuri Bronfenbrenner who had this theory that in the center of the concentric circles is the child. And outside, you will see the different rings of the factors that influence the child's development. So directly outside of the child, you have the family, then you have the school, and you have the community. With the family, you have your family values, the practices that you have at home, and the things that you believe or the parent believes that, that the child picks up. And then you have the school, and you have school norms, you have the peers, friends, peer pressure, etc. And after that, you have the community, the wider community. It might be the neighborhood, or if you live in a small place like the Virgin Islands, it might be the entire island itself. And outside of the community, you have the country, which might be the entire territory at large, or even the United States. And then you have the wider world, and how the things in the world affect our children is through you have the community and the different games that the children might be playing on the internet, and they get to see different things that occur all over. Now, sometimes these spheres of influence over, for example, even though it might say family, sometimes you have friends or even teachers that are closer to your children than family. And that's why it is very important for parents to take part in what goes on in the school and in the community, because it does make a difference to how your child thinks and how your child learns and how your child feels. Next slide. This presentation will be done in two parts. The first part, I will be explaining to you who we are and what we do. The second part, Director Jeray in St. Thomas will be explaining to you the importance of your participation. The directors of the Office of the School and Community Relations have pertinent education and experience working with students and families. So we're not just people maybe who have a business degree, but we do have valuable experience and we do care about working with families and children. We have good communication skills and we enjoy interacting with the community at large. We're capable of building valuable and useful community relations. We're creative thinkers, and then naturally we are nurturers. We're intrinsically motivated to meet the needs of our people, and we have your best interests at heart. And one of the most important things of who we are is that we find fulfillment in working with the community, working with the families, and working with the children and schools. Next slide. Next slide, please. All right, and what we do. Our office serves as a first point of contact for parents needing assistance with addressing school issues pertaining to their children, on-site school faculty or staff, which have not been satisfactorily addressed by the school administrator. Sometimes a parent might go to the school to discuss a matter with an administrator, and perhaps you may not feel that your needs or your experience has been expressed clearly enough, and you may want to see someone in the superintendent's office. And we are to serve as the first point of contact. If there's something that needs going further, then we take that matter to the superintendent or a deputy superintendent as needed. We provide needed and desired support to schools, families, and community stakeholders pertaining to understanding and navigating various aspects of the Virgin Islands Department of Education. There are times that we are contacted by community stakeholders, perhaps companies, perhaps individuals wishing to make a donation, and we serve as a point of contact for them. There are times that families contact us because of various issues, and we are very happy to offer support in that instance as well. We serve as a source of information on finding various forms of community assistance to address needs that affect students and their families. So if there is a particular need, for example, I was contacted by a parent who was concerned that the laptop device that she was given was not working anymore, and we're able to assist her in how to address those needs. We provide programming for families, staff, and the community that address the whole child and contribute to personal and academic success. And so another example of that is Director Ford in St. Thomas contacted me, and she suggested that we collaborate together to revive Parent University. And coincidentally, I had been thinking about some other ways that we could educate parents here on St. Croix. So that programming will be provided, and we're collaborating together to work on that. We provide opportunities for parents to engage with their children and promote more effective relationships, because that relationship at home does make a difference when it comes to academics. We manage collective grant agreement monies that are used to assist with providing meaningful programs and experiences that benefit the community. Another example might be a program that will be coming up soon that it's called Building Stronger Relationships. And so I know with my office, I had a theme this year called Building Stronger Families. And so all the programming that I'm going to do has to do with building stronger families. It might be with relationships, it might be with healthy bodies, it might be with psychological issues, but it's all around making the family unit stronger that will offer better support to students for increased academic success. And I do have some monies in the collective grant agreement that are there to help me provide these types of programs. Next slide. We provide programming that educates families on proven methods of parenting and communicating. And as we move forward, you will be seeing more and more types of programs, of literature, of videos, of things that are available to be assisting with how you communicate and how you reach children in this day and age. We communicate with parents in order to interpret the needs and wants of families for the superintendents and commissioners. Most recently, some of you will note that you have received calls from either Director Ford on St. Thomas or myself on St. Croix, because we were conducting parent wellness surveys to see how online learning was going for you and your children. And these pieces of information that we gleaned from the phone calls were interpreted in a report and turned over to the superintendents, who will then discuss that with the commissioners. And this information will be used to help guide how we move forward in the future. We communicate and collaborate with school-based leaders to assist with providing services that impact student success. So we do meet with principals, we discuss what are some issues that they may be facing that we might be able to help with. We conduct surveys to gauge community perspective to help the Department of Education leaders direct the course of the department. And we serve as an integral part of the various committees that address the needs of our students and families. So of course, our job in education is not like a regular job where you're just working with communities. We work with people. And so it is important that we keep people in mind when we make decisions. And for that reason, Director Ford and I are on several committees that address the needs of our children and our families. Next slide. Next slide, please. We promote the development of collaborative initiatives between schools and local businesses. And so, for example, remember I said that we have a whole wellness type thing going on and building stronger families. I've been working with the Beeston Hill Gym, and we have a program coming up about building stronger bodies. So that's just one collaborative initiative with a community business. We represent the district in various community organizations. Director Ford has been an active participant with the PTA, or should I say PTSA. She has been meeting with them in St. Thomas over the term of her serving in that office. We conduct research on present and upcoming community, national and global issues. And so another example of that is the COVID-19 that we are facing right now. I was asked by the commissioner to put together a presentation that will assist parents when we are reopening schools, that they will know what they need to do to help keep their child as safe as possible. We provide insight to DOE, Department of Education leadership, on current trends which may affect decisions and academic planning. So we have to keep up with what's going on in education, what's going on with testing, etc. We produce literature to inform the community of issues pertaining to the welfare of students. If you can remember at some point in time, our young people were in danger because there were some alleged kidnappings in the community. And so I was able to work with the police department and get information. So I put together a document and sent it out to all the schools so that they could send it to their parents so that they would know what they could do to help keep their children safe at that time. We research best strategies and practices in order to assist and advise all stakeholders. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. The families, why do we do what we do? The families benefit from taking advantage of the programs and services we provide. We are here for you. We were not hired for anything else but to make sure that our families have the support that they need as much as we can. Student success is not impacted solely by direct teacher instruction. So our participation assists in your child's academic success. Having an individual in a non-punitive position to assist with issues helps families to feel more comfortable. If you need to go in to speak to an administrator and you would like someone there to help maybe mediate it makes you feel more comfortable to know that we're not here to pass out punishment. We're just here to mediate or to help you navigate the whole process. Addressing the needs of the whole child's circle has a positive impact on the child's success. As you recall, when I showed you that ecological systems theory, that the concentric rings of the family, the community, the school, we saw how they can affect the whole child. And so it's important that we address all the needs, not just the academic needs, but the social needs, the emotional needs, and the physical needs as well. Encouraging the community to have a more positive perspective of the department assists with motivating students. When the community and our families know that we are making that extra effort to do what we can for the children, they have a better outlook on the department and they speak more positively about the Department of Education. And when the students hear the families and the community speaking more positively, they feel more motivated to learn and they feel more motivated to gain academic success. And then, of course, we love working with people. Next slide, please. The next part is part 2, and Director Jeray Ford of St. Thomas will be sharing with that.
Thank you so much, Director Chancellor. It is awesome to be able to tell all of you what an amazing journey we are going to have for this school year and school years to come because of the amazing partnership that the St. Thomas St. John District now has with the St. Croix District. My counterpart, Director Chancellor, and I were so excited to be able to present to you because it not only reflects what we're going to do for the students, for the parents, for the community, but also just how great collaboration takes us to the next level. Next slide, please. And so like a Tanya Stephens song, I'm gonna take you way back. Parents in education were not considered to be the most important and integral part of education. And that means that Director Chancellor and I were nowhere to be found. Our positions are actually very, very new and innovative to the Department of Education, not just on these small Virgin Islands, but worldwide. Because in the past, historically, parents were seen to have no place in schools. They only came for celebrations, graduations, or they came because little Johnny was in trouble. Teachers were the ones that were at the forefront of education, and you have to understand the socioeconomic portions that played into this, as well as how intimidating education was because it wasn't readily available to everyone. And so education became somewhat of a, this is the teacher's job, this is the principal's job. My job as a parent only happens at home. And then it kind of transformed into education being more of a feminized position where you would have mothers coming in and helping out in the classroom, cleaning the classroom, helping the teacher. And this was because at the time, women were not working as they are today. So it was seen as a very feminized position. And we had something called homeroom mothers. Remember Leave It to Beaver? That mom was a homeroom mom. She helped organize the bake sales, she cleaned the classroom, she did the class events, and she would gather with the other moms. And that was basically all of the parent involvement that we used to see. Schools were just simply an institution for education. You learn, you go home. You get assigned grades, you go home. It was never where it became a partnership where they were woven into each other. In fact, parents were not allowed to voice their concerns because they were seen to be a less than respectable partner. They were seen to have less education and less expertise. And so teachers had the final say. And basically the only thing the schools wanted parents to do was help raise money, do little things here and there, but it was all in a role that the school gave to the parent. Next slide. But this has changed completely. We found out through so much research that parents were the missing piece of the puzzle. You simply cannot educate the student without educating the parent. Because parenting job, let's face it, it's a job that has no prerequisites, no formal education for it. You can't just look up online for a class and instantly you're an amazing parent. And so we had to understand that there was a role to play in us as an institution when it came to education, in teaching parents, in helping parents, in supporting parents. And so there's so many benefits. And it's not just one layered. You have benefits for the students, benefits for the parents, and benefits for the school. One of the major benefits for the students is the positive attitudes towards education. Remember, parents are the child's first teacher. You guys are their role models, their superheroes. Mommy and daddy can do it all. They can do anything. As far as they're concerned, from the time they are young, you know what you're doing, whether you do or you don't. And so when you take an interest in something, they automatically take an interest in it too. And so when you have a positive behavior and a positive attitude about education, that transcends into the child. And so therefore the child then succeeds more. There's higher achievement, there's higher attendance rates, there's higher rates of completion of school, such as graduation. And then there's easier transition years, like what I call those porcupine years, those teenage years, those leaving from elementary to going to junior high to going to high school. Because they have such a positive attitude, they feel secure and it's able to be an easier transition. And parents, I'm not going to say that your involvement doesn't help you as well. One of the biggest things is understanding how the schools work. Once you understand the school, once you understand the players, you are able to feel more secure about you leaving your little angels with us. We have them so long out of the day while you're at work, while you're at school, while you're doing errands. You have to feel confident and secure that we have the best interest for your child. And at the Department of Education, whether you're on the big island of the St. Croix district, or you're with us on the two little islands of St. Thomas and St. John, know that you are able to get assistance. You are able to have access to resources. Know that you have rights and you have an advocate team. That is simply what we do. Director, Chancellor, and I are here for you to represent you so that you're not alone. And then there's benefits to the school overall. So it's not just you and your child you're affecting when it comes to parent involvement. It's the entire school. There's higher expectations for the students, which means there's going to be higher standards of learning. That's what we want. We want a more integrated approach where we understand the families that are involved. We understand the challenges so that we can set up programs. You heard Director Chancellor said that she was doing some partnerships with some of the community organizations over on the Big Island of St. Croix. We have community partnerships with UVI. We have community partnerships with a lot of these nonprofits here so that our students can be able to not just go on field trips, but volunteer and become an integral part of the community. This is what parent involvement does. And it is so powerful, and for so long, it was just the missing piece of the puzzle. Next slide. Now, there are so many examples of getting involved, and through research, and I'm going to continuously go back to the research because I feel like me not being a parent has put me in a position where I have to do my very best to continuously be updated on the research, to continuously give you an objective stance on what to do as a parent. And so one of the classic ones is PTA. And I know there's this kind of cultural connotation, PTA, I don't want to be there for so long. But let me tell you, PTA is one of the most powerful groups that you can be a part of. It's the reason why we have the hot lunch program. It's the reason why we have a lot of the special ed programs that we have in schools today. It was because of parents gathering together and saying, this is what I wanted for my child. And that still happens today in the Virgin Islands. A lot of the programs for tutoring, a lot of the events for family engagement happen because a parent raised their hand and voiced their opinion. And then you have the classroom visits. I love this because you know how they say monkey know a tree to climb? The same child in your house might not be the same child in our schools. And so please come and see the child, see how their behavior is, see what they do in the classroom. Not only that, see what the teacher is doing. You have that right. Look at the teaching style and maybe you can mimic that at home. This helps show an interest in the child's interest of education. And then sporting events. I loved back in the day when my mother used to come to the games and have a big pot spoon and bang all till kingdom come. That let me know that she supported me, not just in academics, but in any interest that I had that would better myself. Parents, we have to start going more and more to those sporting events. And then volunteering. Volunteering is absolutely what you make of it. Every single school has its own culture of what they like to do. Some schools are very pageant oriented. Some schools are sporty. Some schools are all about the PTA. Find your place, even if it's 2 seconds of time. Whether it's you have to be in the background or the forefront, believe me, your children are watching and they're noticing that when you put in an extra effort, they will too. And then advocacy. We want to make sure that your rights are not violated. Director Chancellor and I, especially during these virtual times, are always talking about, gotta go to another training because we have to keep up on the legal rights and ramifications that happen when we have parent concern meetings, when we have special education rights meetings. We have to be informed because we want to make sure we are at the best position to help you become an advocate for your child. Next slide. Click it again, please. Thank you. And so speaking of advocacy, let's get into parent concerns real quick. This is what I like to call our bread and butter, because the only way schools can change for the better is if parents step up and tell us what they believe is wrong. The only way we will know what assistance and resources need to be put in the schools is if parents call our offices, call our cell phones, come to our offices and tell us, this is what I need help with. Because let me tell you, I've never had a parent concern that has just been solitary and standing alone. There's always a trend attached. And with these parent concerns, we have a hierarchy. And let me explain the reason why, because you can't just come straight to the district, or you can't just call the commissioner's office. And there's a reason for this. There's a reason for the hierarchy. You first have to go to the teacher. The teacher is the one, I say all the time, the teacher is the king of the classroom. There is nothing that the teacher doesn't know that's not going on. So that's your best bet for resources. Once that teacher isn't able to satisfy your complaint, then you move to the principal. Because guess what? The principal is Lord of the land. And they're going to be able to have resources and information that might not be so readily for the teacher, but is more readily for them and less readily for us because we're dealing with an entire district. I would say that we have some fabulous principals that know our children by name, know the families that they come from. And so we want to ensure that we give them a chance to solve the problem before coming all the way to the district. Because let me tell you, with all these thousands of children and teachers and paraprofessionals, it is very, very difficult to be able to solve an individual problem without the help of the teacher and the principal. And so that's why, parents, please make sure you follow this hierarchy. Can you click again for me? Now, this is a little pro tip. I love giving pro tips, those of you who have been in my presentations before. I always say, carry a small little notebook with you that fits into your purse. Jot down times, dates, little notes for your concerns. One, that helps carry the weight of your concern. And two, it gives a timeline of progression of what's going on. Another pro tip, if you could click again, please. Another pro tip is that you want to make sure, absolutely make sure, and this is like one of the best pro tips that I could give you. Please make sure that you see if there are any type of forms in the school. We are trying to get them digital for your convenience, because I understand writing back then, writing a letter and writing an email might be exhausting. You might forget little information here and there. Schools will have forms, or the district will have a form. It's going to be made digital for your convenience, but we want to ensure that we make it as convenient as possible for you to get your concern addressed. That's why we say go to the teacher. Bam, teacher can't do it, go to the principal. Bam, guess who's next? Director, Chancellor, and I. We're right there. But we have to make sure we go through the process. We have to make sure that the times and dates in your little notebook add up. We have to make sure that the forms and documentation that you filled out, we have it as well. And so that way it helps us solve your parent concern as quickly as possible. Next, please. Click again. And again. I'm getting very fancy on you guys now, and again, and again, and again, and one more for the road. Thank you. So let me tell you guys, I am so excited because education, especially the Virgin Islands Department of Education, does the utmost. We are so extra. We want to make sure that you know exactly all about the fabulous things that are happening in education. Because while we might get some slack for certain things that we might not be perfect for, our children are thriving. We have success stories where you cannot imagine they came from small, humble beginnings of an island. And we want to make sure that all of you know, not just parents, but the entire community, the type of programs and the type of concern that we have for you. So we go through, we have parent conferences and workshops. We are on Facebook. I mean, there's not a lot of districts that have their own Facebook page. We were on TV. We do parent appreciation luncheons and conferences. We're dealing with Microsoft Teams where you no longer have to even leave your house to voice a concern. We have Power School where parents, this is one of the most important tools where you can see your child's progression before progress reports, before report card day, so that there are no surprises. We even have radio. I mean, we have tried to reach out on every platform known to mankind because we feel like you are so important. We want to make sure you know everything that is going on with your child in the Virgin Islands Department of Education. And this is not easy. This has taken amazing work from the public relations portion and of division of our department. This has taken amazing work from the Office of the Insular Superintendents, as well as Director Chancellor and myself, because we want to ensure that you know all the opportunities and fun things that we have for you. Next slide, please. But don't worry, there's more to come. Director Chancellor and I are part of a grant called the Consolidated Grant Agreement, the CGA, and we have had so many opportunities to develop this grant into what we want it to be, that we wanted to focus on the outreach of it all. So we have radio programs, we have the messaging system where it will come to your phone, your email, via voicemails, text messages, telling you what's going on in the school, what events, what workshops you can attend. Then we have the regular in-person events, and I can't wait until we are able, guys, to come out of this virtual world and I can see your beautiful faces person to person, because we have parent conferences, PTA workshops, family STEAM night. Everything that we do, we want to make sure that education for parents, for adults, for the community is fun, engaging, hands-on. It's educational, but it's educational with a twist. And so we have a little sass and we have a little flair. And so we're doing a whole engaging families through social media campaign. We're doing PSAs. I mean, we are doing it all. And so there is so much more to come. We want to think differently and provide not just development for parents, but professional development for who our parents come in contact with. We want to make sure that our customer service is on point because, quite frankly, you're our clients. We want to make sure that you are happy and secure with the type of education and resources that we offer you. Next slide, please. And speaking of services, it's like we have four integral parts that we do. One of them is the parent concerns that, like I said, it's our bread and butter every single day. We take it the extra mile, parents. I want you to know that, especially after the hurricanes, not just our divisions, but I would say the Office of the Insular Superintendents in both districts, we gave out our personal cell phone numbers. We gave out our emails. We wanted to make sure that you always knew how to contact us. And that's that personal touch that I really, truly hope you all feel, because we're doing our very best. We, as Director Chancellor was saying, we are invested and love people. And so we are doing our best to make sure that every parent concern is taken care of. We're doing our best to ensure that we provide fun and exciting parent education programs, because you cannot educate the child without helping educate the parent. We're providing professional development to staff, like I told you. And then, because if you looked at those rings, those ring-arounds, those child, it's not just about parenting families, it's about communities. So linking communities to families in need is what we want to make sure we do. And if you can do next slide. And so, speaking of which, like I said, we always want to make sure that we are available for you. This is our contact information. One of the best ways right now, since you cannot see us in person, is our email. I mean, it is constantly connected to our phone. It dings morning, noon, and night. But we don't mind. Please give us a call on our main offices, or shoot us an email. We are always willing and ready to assist. And so I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I thank you so much for attending the VIDE's 2020-2021 Parent and Community Professional Development Conference, with a goal to improve the programs and services of the VIDE that are specific to you. Your participation and feedback in this presentation are invaluable. So happy holidays from the VIDE. We hope to see you in attendance at future conferences.
Thank you for attending.
Good day, parents. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you found the information valuable to understanding the VIDE's functions and beneficial to your ease of engagement with the Department of Education. You may access this information anytime by visiting vide.vi and clicking on the For Families tab. Thank you.